Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the WBM podcast. This is one of your hosts. It's your boy Merk.
And this is one of your boys, X-Fan.
And there's your boy Tico in the man.
Tell him, Mark.
Guys, we have an amazing show lined up for you this week. We have an incredible director with us. Done some shows you may know called as Your Boy Named Kanmei.
Oshi No Ko.
Call of the Night and the classic Seiya.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the one and only Shannon Reed. Guys,
Thank
it's
you
going to
so
be an
much.
amazing thrill. So much fun. And are you guys ready?
Ready.
Let's get it popping, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go!
I'm digging the energy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
There he goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Shannon Reed. Shannon, go ahead and say hi to the people for us, brother.
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Shannon Reed. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. Like, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Absolutely, man. Again, thank you for your time. We appreciate you.
Appreciate your time more than anything. We know you're super busy all the time. I know you got like 100 things you got to do.
Well, I'm glad to be able to share what I do with everyone and stuff. And like, you get so busy like with the everyday thing, so it's like taking a step back and being able to share. It's awesome. So I'm happy
great,
to be
man.
here.
So to start off a little bit into it, Shannon, can you tell us a bit about your background? Like, what got you into ADR directing, and how did you figure out this was something you were passionate about?
Well, my whole background, I come from production. When I was a kid, like I was like just a huge fan of movies, and I always wanted to direct. I wanted to camera operate. I wanted to learn how to edit and do all these things. And, I got my first camera when I was like 16, and like I started like just doing like the cheesy little documentaries of like, just behind the scenes and this and that. And then, then I started, just in the neighborhood, I started getting offers to do stuff like, hey, can you film this for me and stuff? I'll pay you to do this. Like, yeah, sure. And the gig started getting a little bit bigger and bigger, where it's like little events, and then like neighborhood or like local companies like, hey, can you do this or that? And I was like, sure. And then eventually I started doing kind of like freelance and like just teaching myself how to do this and like editing. I would go to the library, look up research books and stuff on how to do this and that. And then, just kind of self-taught. And then eventually, as I got older, went to school for film, for digital film and video production. And while I was doing, going to school and doing that, I was doing freelance work like in between classes, in which a lot of my like the other students that I got to know did the same thing. And so, so working on like concerts and like short films, feature films and stuff, just like doing whatever you could do on the side, and then working on personal projects. And but my passion was always directing, writing, and camera operating. But I've been trained to do every position in production, like whether like on set, every role, whether it be like grip department, lighting department, camera operating, and then as well as just like pre-production, just like script writing and story structure, as well as post-production with editing and After Effects or whatever type of effect. But my love was for really just like movies, narrative storytelling. The big thing for me was just being able to tell narrative stories. And so eventually, like years later, like I made my way to Sentai, and which was kind of like a surprise to me, because I think like everyone like finding out that like anime is here, like to me that was like just as big as a surprise, because at the time I was just kind of looking at editing jobs, because where I was at, like I figured, okay, well, I'm going to stay in this particular area for the next few years. And
Right.
So oil and gas and corporate videos and a lot of things like that is like huge. And so I figured, well, I know how to do this. Let me market myself as like an editor, and let me just like do this, because I know that it's a low chance of like finding a place that really tells narrative storytelling in this particular area. And so I came across Sentai, and it surprised me, because like I didn't realize like anime is here. Like and so as soon as I I started working there, I saw like all the different things, like, just have like different writers, directors, and just like it was just so much more than what I was expecting. And as soon as I realized like what I had become a part of, I was just, hey, showing him like I have reels for this. This is all my work that I've done, live action, all this stuff like that. And so I quickly transitioned into directing. So it was kind of a surprise for me jumping into ADR directing or just like working in anime in general. But it was a very big blessing because I wasn't expecting to be a part of something like this. So, and I've been there ever since.
Now you're stuck in it. No, kidding.
It's a good spot to be stuck in.
That's great, man.
What was your first project over at Sentai?
That I cannot tell you because I don't remember. Yeah, like it's like you work on a lot of different projects where it's like it's multiple things, and like you'll be working on multiple projects at the same time, and it's like it kind of becomes a cycle. So I couldn't tell you what the first thing was, but it's all fun.
Can I ask, man, was it so I know that you love film and movies and all the aspects of it. Was it anime that, like, the storytelling about it that you really enjoyed, that really kind of drew you to it? Is that something that obviously, like I said, there's so many more different aspects of it that you didn't realize were in play, but was that one like the main things that really made you sit down and look at this as this could be something more? Or
that was the key thing, because like just the cycle of like, yeah, like I said, like corporate videos, that's fine and dandy, but to tell a story, yeah, something with plot, characters that are layered, characters that change, they have their own arcs, and story arcs as well, but like characters are not the same from the beginning to the end. Like that's what drew me in and really like kept me in. And to me, like that's one of the main drives just when it comes from project to project and stuff, because like getting into the story and the details and seeing how layered these characters are, how flawed these characters are, it's so fascinating, and you want to like get into every single piece of it and like unravel it and break it down. And it makes directing even more fun, and just going through this whole process, like it's exciting. So that really, that's what drew me in and kept me here. I'm telling a story.
Yeah, man, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, of all the projects you worked over at Sentai, which ones do you feel are like some of your favorite ones?
Well, like because they're all different and special. Like, I gotta say, like more recently, I worked on a show called Urusei Yatsura, and so you have all of these interesting characters that are over the top insane in their own way, and like it's just like every episode is something, it's just a new story. To me, it kind of reminded me as like It's Always Sunny, where it's like there's gonna be chaos and there's gonna be an issue, and then it's gonna be blown out of proportion. And is it really gonna get resolved? Most likely not. But
It was the
yeah. And like all these characters are in their own way, they're kind of horrible in their own way, but they're very lovable, and you can't help but just love these characters and just like give a big sigh when they get into something crazy. And to me, like just the whole recording process was like really fun with each actor, because with a show like that, like like we've done different comedies and stuff, but this was like so off the rails. It's something that you don't normally get to, like, you don't get to hit this level of insanity often. Right. And so it was so fun because it's like everyone is like on an unhinged level of like craziness. And to me, it was kind of therapeutic, like every morning, just like, okay, so let me break down what's going to happen. And so like, like that was like, it was just as refreshing as a cup of coffee, because it's like, you get to, direct and break down all of these insane scenes, and then really just like see it happen, like work with the actor to get to that level, and just watch insanity happen in the booth. So I really enjoyed that one.
Hey
there was
Shannon,
this,
whenever you
yeah.
work on all these projects that you've always worked on, I know that every project is special. When you work
Mhm.
on these projects, did you ever like not touch a certain genre? And when you read a project, you're like, man, I was never into this until a certain project. Is there certain animes that open your mind into that kind of genre, like between like isekais, love, so on, like those love stories, so on and so forth?
I'm open to every genre. There, let's see. As far as like one that kind of opened my mind to was Slice of Life. Where
Oh,
it's like, to me, like as far as like just kind of watching. I understand fans that enjoy it. It's very calming and soothing for the most part. And so I remember in the past, like just watching it's like, okay, yeah, like yeah, this looks very nice. And so
The students at a rooftop in Japan.
yeah, they're just hanging out on the rooftop. I was like, okay, like this is, when is this gonna really? And for the longest, I kind of felt that way. But as soon as like I started like directing Slice of Lives, the honestly like the recording process is very soothing. Where it's like
oh,
it's a lot that goes into it, and it's like sometimes it's not, everything is not big and intense. Sometimes things are like very subtle, and so to like really it's kind of like you when you go outside, yeah, there's always something going on, but take a deep breath and just kind of just listen, look, and pay attention to your environment around you.
I
And
like that.
That is
to me,
cool.
like Slice of Life, it kind of felt like that. Just like take a moment, understand what's happening, listen to the environment, see what's going on. And it's like Slice of Life, you are literally throwing yourself into the moment and just what's happening here. And that might sound a little weird, but it's like it's kind of like taking a step back and just really, yeah, enjoying the environment. And so I have more of an appreciation now, where it is calming, and it's like, it's not just like, a slower pace of a story. It's like there's a lot more things happening. You just have to really focus and pay attention. It's a lot of little details. It's like little brush strokes that paint a bigger picture. So
Right.
that I appreciate that for sure. As far as like another one was like, I did a lot of them where it's like you start to do a lot of harems and stuff where it's like, okay, let me
I
take a step back.
mean,
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. Which,
You
you
do it
know,
for the plot.
you you do it for the plot. You do it for the plot. And I appreciate it. And hey, hey, everyone has their own genre, and it's like, hey, if this is your go-to, this is your go-to, and I appreciate that.
You directed
Um,
Monster Musume.
I am one of the directors for Monster Musume, and boy howdy, that's a show. So it has a plot, and yeah, it has a lot. It has plot and a lot. Yep. But it's fun. It's fun. Like, it of course is a show that like it's fan service to a degree.
I mean,
But it is also very fun and exciting. There are a lot of fun moments and goofy moments that you get to play with and lean into. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's
that's hilarious. Man, one like a really notable project that you've done obviously was Seiya. So that being said, whenever you got a chance to go back and do that, because a portion of it had already been done in English, you guys went back and did the redubbing of it. Was there any part of you that was nervous to go back into that because like there had already been a version of it, and then you're like, I'm going to
yeah.
do more epic lines. I'm going to keep them the same. Like, what was your mindset going into that one?
That one, I actually did feel a bit nervous. And it's not like not because part of it's been done before or this and that. Like I understood going in that just that franchise was a very beloved one,
Right.
and it doesn't matter if it's like this show or the next show. It's like for anything that you work on, you want to give it your all. and you want to do your best because, everyone's a fan of something. I'm a fan of different things, and I would feel hurt or frustrated if like it wasn't given the proper care or and
Yeah, very
effort.
true.
And so, yeah, the with every show, I feel that way. For this one, there was a particular nervousness because this one's been around for some decades,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's like you don't want to mess it up, and there's an expectation, and not only that, but the fact that like this is 114 episodes total. Like it's a long series, and you want to keep that momentum up the entire time. And then not only that, like you're dealing with, like for the animation is completely different from modern day. Like if you compare, something from the 80s to something really like it's a huge gap really for every era. But to jump back into the 80s compared to like things that are coming out now in the 2000s, like the animation's different. When you look at mouth flaps, it's very, very different. For Saint Seiya, one of the biggest things to focus on is if you really pay attention. Well, it doesn't take much effort to pay attention to it, but like the mouth flaps for a lot of things, it's just constant going for like long periods of time. At least like when it comes to animation now, you're having conversation in the dialogue and the pauses and and there's details in the movement on what gets enunciated. And so as a writer as well, it's like you focus on all the details. You're telling the story, you're also trying to properly match mouth flaps as well as make the lines fluent and make sense. You're not trying to match the mouth flaps just for the sake of matching mouth flaps. Like you want this to be a cohesive story, and it's like you're focusing on a lot of different things at the same time. And so with Saint Seiya, it was like very, very different because it was a different era, and there's like adjusting and really trying to get the trifecta of hitting all of the notes with like that type of style of animation. It was particularly a difficult challenge, but it was a fun one because like it was a lot to really focus on. And not only that, just even breathing with actors and like where to take breaths and where to pause and where to push the momentum, where to calm down, pull back, push forward. So it was very
Patience is a lot different, right?
Yeah, it's everything was it's all different. Like it's and then not only that, but like one of the craziest thing is like this show is like the action level to an extreme. Like you've got people just really just belting out yells in a different type of level. So there was a lot to account for, and yeah, it was a certain level of nervousness, but it was also it was fun. And really like just at the end of the day, like I said, for everything you work on, you want to give it your all because this is someone's baby. This is someone's everything. And I think that as long as you put in all the effort that you can and you try your best, then if anything, you can walk away knowing that, hey, I did everything that I could to make this as great as it can be. And so that kind of took that nervousness away because it's like, I'm going in every day, I'm trying, and I can walk away with that.
Man, kudos to you, brothers. That's pretty cool, man. That's a lot of respect on that, man.
I'm just a man.
See,
the man doing it for the plot.
I think it's really cool, Shannon. I didn't even think about it simply for the fact that because I'm an aspiring voice actor, it's something that I want to do when as my years go on, and it's something that I got worried about. We did the test sample of the of a voice acting at Anime Houston whenever we actually got a chance to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
And man, like I didn't realize how long I had been belting for so long that I'm like, and I'm like, oh yeah, they probably need to work with those people. I mean, it's very easy once you say it, but in the moment, I'm like, man, these guys just got great lungs. They're really good at what they do. But I was curious, besides Senseiya and some other great projects that you have, is there anything that's lesser known that you wish got more screen time or people knew more about?
There's one show that I really enjoyed called Run with the Wind. It's a sports anime where it focuses on track. And so I really enjoyed it because it focuses on a bunch of college students that are like different types of people that you would meet in real life, and like everyone is like pretty much a misfit in their own way. And so they kind of all form together and create this bond, this kind of brotherhood, and they all kind of help improve themselves. And of course, like, you know, we're trying to aspire to win a particular event ultimately, but there's really just like the connection between each of the characters, and just the obstacles that everyone has to go through. And like we're really like, it's not all about me, you know, this person's going through something, this person is going through something, and seeing the interaction and just the steps that they take to kind of build each other up. It's like, it's pretty amazing. And the show is hilarious too, but there's like so many moments that are like, yeah, like I know exactly what this person's going through. Like I get that. I get it. But that's one. Anonymous Noise. That one's another one. So that was some years back, which it focuses on its music. It focuses on a rock band, and so it's also there's some love story stuff happening, and also like love for the music as well. And so for that one, it was the main actress for that was Juliet Simmons, Bryson Bogus, and Houston Hayes. And it was so good to have that dynamic. Like everyone brought something to the table. And one thing that I thought was like really, really cool is that like, yeah, there's a love story aspect to it. Where it's like, you know, who's this character going to go for? Who's that character going to go for? But ultimately, the thing that didn't get lost was like the love and passion for the music, the things that like the people really wanted. And it's like usually like for some shows, it's like the relationship aspect gets overwhelmed, and it's like, but I love you, and I've always felt. But you know, there are some layers there, but ultimately, it's like I like the fact that the story didn't overshadow or discard just the passion, because it's like in the end, it's like, you know, yeah, like this will always be in your heart. Relationships, it can go all kinds of ways, but you know, don't lose touch or give up the things that you truly love. And so, and not only that, but the entire show, there's all of these songs that are like sung. And Juliet Simmons, awesome actor, she and she's an actual singer. She does a bunch of stuff. For the entire show, she sung every single rock song in Japanese. Like that's actually her.
What?
And so like
Really?
we spent a decent amount of time like in the studio with sheet music going through every single song. And so she did a wonderful job. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
I had no idea. I didn't know she could sing Japanese. That's so cool.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, she's great. Like check out her work and her stuff, because yeah,
Speaking of
she's
Juliet Simmons, another one of our favorite animes that you directed is Your Boy Kongming.
oh yeah.
Eiko. She signed this Eiko print for us.
Oh cool, yeah.
Man.
I dig that. I want a copy now.
Yeah. And you signed our Boy Kongming for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Kongming. Like that show is so when that show arrived, like when I first saw it, it caught me so off guard, where it's like I couldn't get past like the opening with like what, like how, like this creation.
Open it is so great. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
It's very James Bondy.
Yeah, like I kid you not, like everyone around the office like wouldn't stop doing that dance. Like everyone was literally like going around, and this was before like I caught wind of what it was and stuff, and I just thought everyone was crazy, like normal. And so then I saw, I was like, oh wow, yeah, this is solid. And so it was really, really fun, because like that's another show that's like I was just so shocked. I'm like, how does this all work? Like this, it works so well, but how? It makes no sense. How but I'm loving every minute of it. And it's like, dude gets like, well, this is not a spoiler because dude gets isekai, and
Reverse
then,
is tired.
reverse isekai, but like the thing that's so cool is that it is hilarious and it goes a little off the rails from time to time in a good way, but it has so much heart, and it's like it has a message at the end of every episode, and it's inspiring, and it's like go after like another show where it's like you go after your dreams, you go after the things that you love, and ultimately like believing in yourself. That's like a huge thing, and so I really like feel good shows where it has a message like that, because everyone goes through things, and it's cool to come across like a show or something that in the end it can it hits you, and it can like kind of change the outcome. Like maybe you're going through something and you're not too sure about something, and then something inspires you to kind of push forward and persevere through. So I really love that show.
Boy Kongming was like inspiring too, and I love the songs on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
But on that one, Juliet Simmons didn't get to sing those, right?
There's some acapella stuff where that is her.
Oh,
really?
Wow, that's so cool.
Oh yeah, so she's a singer. Matter of fact, that also the show Teresa Zimmerman is also a wonderful actor, which she has some acapella moments as well where she gets to sing in there too.
Does she play Nanam?
Yes, a little bit later on. Yeah. So,
nice.
Yeah, it's a good show. Not to say that like I like feel good shows, but I like the heavy, darker shows as well. I think those are really fun too. But ultimately, good message.
I was actually just about to ask.
Okay.
Our camera just unfocused whenever we put those photos up there. Can you give us just a brief second to get it back in focus real fast?
Oh yeah,
just
all good.
Yep, sorry about that. Nope. There we go. All right.
Thanks.
And
hey, another one. Another one that's kind of musical, but it's got that darker twist. Oshi No Ko.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think that was going to become such a big hit?
I did not think that it would turn out the way that it did. Like to me, like I was geeking out over the story unraveling, because like that, like I don't, like you see different shows and like, you have your own idea of like, oh, is this going to be popular or not and stuff. But like really like focusing on like, I feel like if you're all focused on something being like a huge hit and this and that and stuff, you can kind of lose sight of things. And so, to me, like when I'm starting on a new show, like I'm more fascinated into learning this story and seeing how it plays out, like the actual plot and how things unfold, how in depth these characters are, who is this character, what's their deal, like all the ins and outs. To me, that's what I find exciting. And when Oshi No Ko came to me, I was just overjoyed, because it's like it's a wonderful set of characters, and it continues to grow as we go forward, and just seeing how layered and all over the place some of these characters are, and some characters very unhinged in their own ways. It's fascinating, and you develop your own like questions, and it's like when I do my research, I want to know everything as much as possible. And like, I was looking up stuff like in the manga, it's like, we haven't answered this question, or we haven't gotten to this and that and stuff. And it's like, you get kind of like, in a way, like obsessed with the story, on like wanting to like get to what's next. And it also makes it kind of more fun too, with like, things that aren't told, but you kind of know what's going to happen next. And so when you're laying the foundation, it makes it even more exciting, because like to me, like I like to be a very informative director with my actors. And so like, if they do their own personal research as well, I think that's cool. That's fine. But like, of course, like when we get into the studio, like we're going to discuss and break down things. And so depending on the show and the characters, sometimes there's moments where it's like I'm gonna withhold this piece of information or that, but let's work
Oh.
on this and stuff. And it's like sometimes it you know, getting them in the right tone and the right voice, and then, you know, having these certain thoughts to the character and stuff. And it's like, oh, and I think it's more fun or fun when it's like, you know, you finally get to a certain reveal and then the actor's like, ah, that's why we put these in place. That's why we did this and that. And it's, you know, you're kind of telling a story while telling a story and like kind of layering
Yeah.
and building this stuff up. So yeah, Oshi was it's an insane show, but it's so wonderful. But like it's
I didn't see that plot twist coming in the beginning.
yeah.
Just starting from the beginning. Boom.
It's heavy. It's so much stuff, and I mean I'll leave it there if you know, since you know, yeah, just be ready. Be
It
ready.
got so big. It got so popular. So
Yeah, you know, I'm really glad. Really, ultimately, I'm just glad people enjoy it and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
go
like I
watch
said, like,
Oshi No Ko and High Dive.
There you go.
yeah, watch it on high dive. But yeah, like ultimately that's what I care about. Like people enjoy it, and like, you know, when I get to talk to people about shows, like whether it's Oshi or whatever, it's like, you know, if they like it or if they didn't like it or want to break something down and stuff, like let's discuss, like, you know, let's talk about it. But it's cool when, you know, people really enjoy the story and the performances, like the characters and all the little details. It makes me feel more happy about, you know, like and you know, about doing my job. It's like, okay, I'm doing something that's like impacting people, and so, you know, I'm glad it's making some type of impact. So
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
You know, I was also curious, Shannon. So we already talked about High Dive being, you know, it's a huge platform already. It's growing as much as we want it to, more and more every day. And you know, dubbing has gotten faster. The fact that High Dive even has the ability to do, like, you know, simulcast at the same time with both the sub and simuldub coming out at the same time. Does that put more pressure on you as an ADR director? Like, because obviously before they used to sometimes wait until the entire series was done and then like, all right, we're gonna go ahead and start doing episode 1. Versus you're like, okay, it comes out next week, guys. Let's get hot.
Some directors like the pressure. I'm kidding. It does change things. I mean, yeah, like when you're, you know, when you're dubbing an entire series compared to like something that's weekly, there is like a change of pace. Of course, you give the highest level of quality that you can with everything, but I don't know, like I kind of I like the dub cast process. You know, it's to me, in a sense, it's kind of like easier to, because like, you know, we're working on multiple things, and I think it's cool because like, all right, well, I'm working on this chunk here with this many episodes and this and that, and you got your air dates and stuff, and then I'm also working on this. So it's like, when you switch in between shows, to me, it's a little refreshing because like, okay, well, I may be working on this slice of life over here, and then, you know what, I'm also working on this this mecha, you know, or it's like, oh, change of pace, and then let me jump back to this slice of life, and let me jump over here to this shonen. You know, it's like, to me, it's like, it's a nice little, yeah, it's refreshing. It's a change of pace,
palate cleanser.
Yeah. And, you know, it's like, and then when you jump back to whatever show, it's like you pick up right where you left off and stuff. And it's, you know, for me, like I'm someone that really I like to write notes, and, you know, keep track of different things, like, you know, story arcs, character arcs, things that I noticed that a character did, like a pause in movement and stuff, blocking. Yeah, like, which you don't have to worry about blocking in anime because you're in a booth, your characters are on the screen. But for me, it's like, well, I remember, you know, like when I work on set, it's like blocking is a part of your performance as well, and I like to pay attention to the movement of the characters, like, and their blocking, because it's like that's telling a story in itself. as well. And so, like I think I think it's cool to keep track of all that. And I forgot your question. Could you repeat that?
No, man. You answered it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that was good, man.
Yeah.
But
But we like learning all this behind the
Yeah,
scenes
absolutely.
stuff
Yeah, absolutely.
about
because
the voice acting, about the dubbing process.
and it's so funny that the way
I actually picture it like as you're explaining it,
Yeah.
like I'm seeing I mean my own studio, but you were like, hey, telling them like, hey, we gotta go this way and that way. Like I'm envisioning the whole process.
But even the way you talk about like jumping from animes to animes, that's how I think we do it in real life. We're like, man, I've done a lot of mecha for a bit. Let's go to slice of life.
Same.
Let's go. I need some isekai. I need something else to. And it's so interesting that the director does the exact same thing and how that's so cool for you.
Yeah, it helps you become more well-rounded in everything. I mean, it would kind of be like, which, not knocking anyone who's like, hey, I just want to do this genre. I just want to be here. And that's fine. It's to each their own. But, I think it's fun. Like, to me, like I said, I love narrative storytelling. It doesn't matter what genre it is. The fact that I am telling the story, like, that's where the passion lies. So it doesn't matter what genre it is. It's like, let me immerse myself into the story. So,
is there a project you have not worked on that you wish you kind of did based on that? Because the narrative is so good. Like I wish I kind of worked on that one.
That's a long pause.
Is there a lot, or is there like you don't want to name?
I don't want to name it, but there's one.
So there are.
So yes,
Gotcha.
There is one, but yeah.
Okay, understood. No, I appreciate you. You answered my question. Thank you. My curiosity. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
But speaking of the dubbing process, obviously part of your process is watching the Japanese.
Mhm.
Do you try to stay as close to the Japanese, like with the voice acting? Do you try to like keep it like true to the original, or
No, as far as like trying to keep it like, or you're saying like close to the voices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, no. One of the big things with each director is that each director is very different, and so for me, that is like trying to match the Japanese voice actors is something that I try to stay away from. I think like like the whole point of how I see things is like, okay, I think the original Japanese actors and audio and everything, it's wonderful, wonderful job in performance and all. I feel like when it comes down to dubbing, well, this is the English dub version, and so I think it's important, or like it should be a big important thing to try to like, well, let's enhance, like where can we let's push the limits. And so I feel like, if to me, like trying to sound like someone else and trying to match this and that, it's like, no, that is the exact opposite of what I would try to want to do as a director or storyteller. And so no. Now, as far as like the hitting the notes of the story, of course, because the story has been told, like there is it's developed and built in that sense. And so, if anything, for the pivotal moments that we hit in each show, in each episode, yes, like I need to make sure that this moment hits hard.
Yeah.
Now, can we hit it harder? Like push it, like, make it even more of a layered unraveling situation. Like, yeah, let's push the limits there. But
I like that.
I don't try to, when I watch a show for like doing research, of course I can hear the Japanese voice actors. Yes. But I'm looking at the characters,
Then
like,
finding the voice becomes like finding the essence of the character.
exactly. And then not only that, but like, let's go back to, story arcs. Every story has an arc from beginning to end. Every character has an arc from beginning to end. And so each character, they're not the same person that they were in episode 1 versus episode 12, 24, whatever end of the episode or end of the series is. And so there's personal growth. whether it be for better or for worse. And one thing that I also find fun is, like, I'm looking for the voice based off the character, the development, who this character is, and finding, okay, well, what actor can best give and bring out that performance. And not only that, but for each actor, like, there's a growing process in the booth because they are learning these characters as well from day one. And so as we go along, going through those changes, it's a big deal. And to even bring it up to another level. Oh, all right, that's my dog. All right, to bring it up to another level, I think, this is kind of taking it away from just the just the story itself, but each actor, every actor is wonderful and talented and stuff, but I think it's the job of directors to kind of, okay, let me let him out real quick.
No, no worries.
Yo,
Tell our dog, yo, chill.
All right. But I think it's important for each director to, understand and pay attention to the range of each actor. There's actors that, many actors that have wonderful range from here to there. There are actors that maybe haven't hit over here, but they want to get to this level over here, but they haven't really been given that opportunity to push those boundaries to get to here. And, there are actors that also get kind of branded because they can do this specific voice, and then they kind of get typecasted into this specific voice. And because they now become very well known for this specific voice, they don't get to open up the range to show the other end and this and that and stuff. And I think it's important for each director to pay attention to where each actor is at. And like, you can be great. You can be a wonderful, like, veteran, or you can be a new person. It's your job as a director to enhance that range. Like, and if there's something that they're working on, like, acknowledge and focus, look at those weaknesses in the actor and make those into strengths. And so, it's fascinating because there are some actors that have been, in the booth and story where it's like, this is the voice. This is the right person for this character. And where they start off, like, they may not be like the at peak level now, but they have that potential in them. And it's like, and it's your job to work with them and to get them to that point. And it's interesting and fascinating when, you have this character that's like kind of similar, like they have a beginning and you have an actor that's trying to hit to this level and they have that potential in there. And then as you kind of go, it intertwines, and then you kind of go up that stair step, and then when they meet and they hit, it's like, it's wonderful. And it's like, it's an experience in the story as well as in the booth where it's like, you did it. This is it. So yeah.
It's so good. No,
I love
so
that,
good.
man.
Yeah.
You know what? That actually even connects to our episode that we have with John Swasey on there, where he talks about he did a Soul Leader and he played Lord Death, and his director was telling him, like, it wasn't until episode 5 that he really got the character down. He's like, okay, we're gonna go back, to episode 1, and we're gonna redo it because where you're at now is where that character should be at from episode 1. I mean, he's even talked about it in One Piece whenever he does Crocodile in the beginning. So when you see him at the end of the arc, how his voice is finally settled into that character, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't even think about that. But that's so cool. As a director, you can hear the potential of the voice actor. You know what they're capable of, but the fact that you're willing to make somebody push further and step outside of that range to see what they really have to offer, I think that's incredible, man.
Oh, it's directors are just guides. It's all the actor. Like, they have the potential. They have, if you have the drive and just like the passion for it, then it's like, you may not see the potential. You may see the potential in you, but like, as long as you keep that tenacity and keep going, you're gonna hit those levels. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Can I ask you, do you have like any advice for somebody who aspiring ADR directors, like what are tips and tricks that you would help, or guidance that you would give them to want to step into this field?
Okay. Wow. Well, I would say, like, if you want to, the biggest experience is, advice is it's experience. Whether you're, like get on a crew. You know, like if you are working like as a if you find a production job or something where it's like you get hired on, like it doesn't matter what position, like if it's PA or grip, you know, just be in the environment, learn what it's like to be on a team and, you know, on set, uh, or like even if it's ADR work and stuff, like even if you're shadowing and observing, just, you know, read the room. Reading the room is a big deal because at least for ADR work, you know, you spend all of your time in the studio and in the booth, and you know, it's not just me that's working on this. It's like, you know, I'm a director. I'm also working very close with the audio engineer, who they're focused on so many different things, and it's kind of like you're piloting this project together. And then not only that, you have different departments that are working hard to bring the most out of each show. And so one of the big things, like if you are aspiring to be an ADR director, you have to learn to pay attention, read the room, understand what's going on, understanding the decision, why decisions are being made, understanding the second language that's going on between the director and the audio engineer, because there's a conversation happening with each actor, but there's also a separate conversation happening with the director and engineer, because you know there's multiple things going on at once, and then understanding or really observing the reasons why the director gives this style or directions. Why did they say that? You know, why this and not this? Why are we focusing on this over here and not this? And then not only that, but writing. I would say like the biggest, like one of the big things is like take writing classes. Understand story structure. You know, it's like don't just go in thinking like, okay, I want to be a director just because I get to direct. It's like, okay, well, you become a director, you have this level of control. What are you going to do with it? You know, like you have like all of these talented people and everyone that's ready to work. But if you don't have a clear vision of what you're going to do, if you don't have a clear vision of these characters where it's going, then it's like, well, you're in the seat now. What are you going to do? And not only that, but it's important to like you really have to soak up the story, every little detail, because if you're going to put on that hat, it's your job to pretty much know everything, whether it's a big question, small question. It can be the most like no question is dumb, but it could be like the as little of like, what's that on the table over there in the background, like why is that there? Do you
I
know
don't know.
why? But yeah, it's not, you know, being a director is not about, you know, I got to direct this or I got to do that. It's like it's your job to, one, as far as like actors, like, you know, help build them up and you know, help increase that range, get you know, you want to get, of course, get the best performance out of them and stuff, but there's growth with the characters, as well as the actors playing these characters in those roles, and you know, get the most out of the performance, the most out of the story, push the limits of the story. Not only that, but like the biggest thing is like you want to, you know, create something that the fans love and admire. Like you're really like you're doing this for the fans. Like my whole job is for the fans, because like, you know, there is no other reason. And so, you know, understanding that weight that comes with it, where it's like it's not, you know, it's not a bragging right to do it. It's like, no, you've got work to do. You know, you have so much that you have to account for, and it's more than just a flashy title. So, but there's a lot of that. Pay
Right.
attention, focus on what you need to do, learn everything, and learn how to be a great communicator. So yeah, writing, learn communication, read the room, shadow people, learn how to articulate your words, because detail, breaking down things, it's very important, because what you say can have a different effect depending on what words you use and how you say it. So everything that you do, just get
Nice.
as much experience like shadowing and learning and observing as you can.
Nice. You guys taking notes?
Yeah.
No, hey,
Yes.
one last anime that I wanted to ask about was Call of the Night.
Oh yeah.
That one was
Yeah.
pretty fun to do.
It was really fun. Like it was fun.
And then
Like
you had
I
Monica Rial, and she's a great voice actress.
Natalie, yeah, and Monica.
I'm sorry,
Actually,
Natalie Rial.
both of
Sorry
them.
about that.
Both of them. No. You're good. You're good. Both of them are in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's a wonderful show. Natalie is awesome. Which there was when we were at Anime Houston, we were talking a little bit about Call of the Night on the panel. And overall, like I think the show is wonderful. She does an amazing job. Gabriel Ragojo, he does a wonderful job as Ko. The entire cast is pretty awesome. The show is beautiful. It looks great. The characters, like I love how like one character is one way, the other character is a complete 180, and then like midway in the show, everything gets flipped all the way around. But like I like the level of detail in just like everyone's going through stuff. It kind of goes back to everyone's got their own little journey and they've got their own obstacles, and it's like that shows a great representation of like showing that, but also how to move forward from it, how to grow from it. But yeah, like I was saying, Anime Houston, there was one moment I thought was like super just oh my gosh, where Natalie's great, but there was this every time like her character is a vampire. That's not a surprise. But whenever it came down to her character like sucking blood, you would think it would be like a simple like sound. We recorded all of the sounds of that too, but that we got so many takes of trying to get that right because it sounded just so oh my goodness, like and like she thought it was funny, but it's like me and Dave, the engineer that I work with, which is great, awesome, David Lasco, amazing engineer, but we're
Shout out
just like
Dave.
sitting there. Oh yeah, shout out to Dave. But like we were just like getting like so many takes of just like the and all that just to get it right, and it's like, oh, this is supposed to be a very intense scene, like it's heavy and stuff, and then the blood sucking sounds so a complete opposite, and it's like constantly. And then at one point she was like, oh wait, hold on, let me get some water and stuff, let me do this and that, and it's like, no, please don't. So yeah, but it like overall it was like such a fun experience.
That's terrible. Don't make it sloppy.
don't make it yeah. But yeah, no, I love that show. It's fun, and then a lot of the jokes and things that happen in there, to me, it's completely hilarious. There's these three dudes that they're like characters that pop up from time to time in different episodes. They're the three drunk dudes, the drunk friends, and like they have like small moments in each episode, but I absolutely love those characters. Like they just do so much random. The jokes hit so hard, and then they're gone. It's like, okay. So, but overall, everyone brought their A game. It's a fun show. Check it out. It's got a message too. So yeah, I love that show.
Watch all these shows on High Dive.
That's right.
All of these shows on High Dive.
Shannon, one of the last questions that we have for you really is going to be, are there any future projects that you got in the works that you're really excited about, that you want to tease for the fans, that you're pumped?
Ooh.
That you can't talk about?
I've got a few that I'm working on that I am super excited and pumped about, but I can't talk about any of them. Yeah, okay. It's oh my gosh! Like I wish I could. I really wish I could, but it's gonna be the upcoming year and months, and it's gonna be pretty wild. So get ready.
Right. Well, you heard it here first, guys. Stay tuned for Shannon Reed. Lit, boys. I tell you what.
First, guys.
Yeah. Exclusive.
Yep, next year and this year too. So
there we go. The year's not over yet.
True.
All right, well, Shannon, we want to say thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Shannon.
We really do appreciate it. This has been extremely informative, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast. Like I freaking love this. So I thank you for everything.
Absolutely,
Absolutely,
man.
Shannon. Thank you so much for your time.
When more projects come out, brother, man, we'll have you on for part 2.
Okay.
Podcast has been your boy Merk. Make sure you guys are following us on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, all at WBM_podcast.
And you should be following us at Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, all that jazz.
And check out the website, WBMpodcast.com. This is your boy Tico.
And Shannon, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Shannon D Reed, or the Arcade Prince. It's a game.
All right.
You can find me on X. It's called X now.
X.
You can find me there, Shannon D Reed. You can follow me on TikTok, Shannon D. Reed, and then you can follow me on Twitch, which is the Arcade Prince.
Hey, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the WBM podcast. We out. We'll see you next time.
We out.
Peace.